All right, welcome. If you're serious about mastering Flutter, you've got to start right here with its foundation, the Dart language. In this explainer, we're going to give you a crash course, connecting Dart's most powerful features directly to why they make Flutter just so good.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the absolute basics, the essential building blocks. Then, we'll tackle what I think is Dart's secret weapon for app reliability, sound null safety. From there, we'll get into the fun stuff, object-oriented concepts like classes and mixins that are literally the backbone of Flutter widgets. And finally, we'll tie it all together to show you exactly why Dart is the engine that makes Flutter fly.
Okay, let's dive right in. Before we can build those beautiful, complex UIs in Flutter, we really need to get comfortable with the absolute basics, what Dart code looks like, feels like, and how it works. And here it is, the classic hello world. Every simple Dart app you ever write will have this top-level main function. It's the entry point where everything kicks off. The void just means it doesn't return anything. And that print function, super simple way to get some text out to your console, nice and clean. Now let's talk variables. On the left, we're using the var keyword. See, Dart's compiler is incredibly smart. It looks at the text Voyager I and just knows, hey, that's a string. Same with the number, it infers the type. On the right, we're being more explicit, telling Dart exactly what the type is. Both ways work just fine. And this is a huge deal in the Flutter world. Seriously, when you're building a massive widget tree with tons of local variables, using var just declutters your code so much. It lets you focus on the logic and the structure of your UI, not on typing out string, int, double over and over again. But when it comes to functions, especially the important ones, the best practice is actually the opposite. Be explicit. Why? Well, think of it like a contract. When you explicitly type your arguments and your return value, anyone using this function knows exactly what to give it and what to expect back, without ever having to peek inside. It just makes your whole code base way easier to manage. And for those times your function is just a single line, Dart gives us this super elegant shorthand. See that fat arrow as equals? It's a slick replacement for, quote, return ... end quote. You are going to see this everywhere in Flutter, especially for things like button presses or other callbacks. It keeps your widget code tight and really readable. Okay, let's move on to what is, no joke, one of Dart's most important and powerful features, sound null safety. This isn't just some small update. It's a game changer that completely wipes out an entire category of bugs before you even run your code. So what does that really mean? At its heart, it's simple. Unless you go out of your way to say a variable can be null, it just can't be. And that word sound is the key. It's a guarantee. It means you stop chasing down weird crashes that your users are reporting, and instead, you fix a clear error your editor points out to you right away. And this just shows you how brilliantly simple the syntax is. A normal string variable, it has to be a string, period. It can't be null. But what if you need to allow for a value to be missing? You just add a question mark. That's it. String question mark means it can be a string or it can be null. That one little character is your key to nullability. Let's look at the classic developer nightmare. In a language without null safety, this code looks totally fine. But what happens when someone, somewhere, accidentally passes null to that function? Your app builds, it ships, and then bam. A user hits a button and the whole thing crashes. The app tried to get the dot length of nothing and it all fell apart. This is the dreaded null pointer exception. It's such a simple little bug, but it can cause so much chaos. So how does Dart save us from this? Here's the magic. With modern Dart, that exact same code doesn't even get a chance to run. Your code editor will scream at you. The compiler will stop you dead in your tracks. It says, nope, you can't pass null into a function that's expecting a real string. The bug is caught and squashed before it ever had a chance to become a crash. So, to wrap it up, these are the core ideas. By default, nothing can be null. You have to give variables a value before you use them. And most importantly, the system is sound. That's a guarantee. And for Flutter, this is everything. It means we can build our widget trees with confidence, knowing that a whole class of unpredictable bugs that break our UI has been totally eliminated by the language itself. All right, now that we have this rock-solid null-safe foundation, let's talk about what we build on top of it. And that's object-oriented programming. In Dart, pretty much everything's an object, and classes are the blueprints we use to make them. This is the absolute heart of Flutter. Every button, every piece of text, every layout, it's all an object made from a class. So here's a simple spacecraft class. It's got some properties, right? A name that can't be null and a launch date that can. That first spacecraft line is the constructor. That this.name thing is a cool little shortcut Dart gives us. But check out that second one, spacecraft unlaunched. This is a named constructor, and oh man, you are gonna love these in Flutter.
Named constructors just make your code's intentions so much clearer. Think about it. In Flutter, you could use the default container constructor and set all the properties yourself. Or you could use a named constructor like sizebox, which is really just a container configured in a specific way. The name itself tells you exactly what you're getting. It's the same idea as spacecraft.unlaunched. It clarifies the purpose and makes your code just a pleasure to read.
Okay, so inheritance is cool, but in Dart, you can only inherit from one class at a time. So what do you do when you want to share a bunch of code or functionality across totally different types of classes? Well, that's where Mixins come in. They are Dart's super elegant solution for reusing code. Yeah, this quote nails it. Think of it this way. Inheritance creates an is-a relationship. A golden retriever is a dog. But what if you want a bird and an airplane to both have the ability to fly? A bird isn't an airplane. A mixin gives you a has-a relationship. Both can have the flyable capability. It's way more flexible. And using them is dead simple. First, you define a chunk of reusable code with the mixin keyword. Here, our piloted mixin adds an astronaut's property. Then you just take any old class, like our spacecraft class, and you mix in that functionality using the with keyword. And just like that, piloted craft has everything from spacecraft plus the new stuff from piloted. And this is a perfect real-world example you'll use all the time. In Flutter, your widget's state class already is a state. It extends state. It can't also extend some other animation class, but it needs the behavior of an animation ticker. So what do? You just mix it in with single ticker provider state mixin. You're just adding a capability, not messing up your whole class structure. It's brilliant. All right, we've gone through the fundamentals, null safety, classes, and mixins. Now it's time for the big finale. Let's connect all these dots and see exactly why these specific features make Dart the absolute perfect choice for a framework like Flutter. So let's bring it all home. See how all these pieces fit together? Dart's flexible classes are what let us have that everything is a widget architecture. Mixins let us cleanly bolt on complex behaviors like animations to those widgets. Using var keeps our UI code from getting noisy and unreadable. And holding it all together is sound null safety, that amazing safety net that guarantees our app has a solid crash-resistant foundation. It's not one single feature, it's how they all work in harmony that makes Dart so special for building UIs. So we'll leave you with this question, because understanding these core ideas isn't just about theory. It should actually change the way you think about building your apps. Now that you really see the why behind Dart's design, how are you going to use these features to build more robust, more readable, and just plain better Flutter apps?